3 ways to conquer your fear of public speaking. What's up guys, this is Eric Ho here, international speaker, entrepreneur, and best-selling author. And a lot of people look at me today and they think, Eric, how is it that you get to speak in front of 5,000 people alongside Richard Branson? And you must be born to speak, you know? You must be born with that confidence. But let me tell you something. If you are like me, I used to be the shy boy in school. I used to be the kid who used to sit in the corner of the classroom afraid to put my hand up. And every time I do put my hand up and then the teacher would point at me and tell me to say a few words, I don't know what it is, and I don't know if you've ever had this before. Like, it's that feeling where the words just don't come out of your mouth, you know, and you don't know why. And then your face goes all red and then your hands start shaking and it keeps spiraling out of control. And that's why I decided to put this video together for you to share with you, you know, the things that I've learned along the way, the things that my mentors, my coaches have taught me, very, very simple strategies and very applicable so that any of you right now who are listening, if you follow these 3 things and you practice it, I promise you, you will not have the fear of public speaking ever again. Okay, so the first thing is what we call a cognitive reframe. Okay, a cognitive reframe. And what does that mean? It means that a lot of the time the fear actually comes from the thought of public speaking, right? They say public speaking is the #1 fear in the world. And what does that mean is because if you think about it, when we go on stage, how do we actually think about it beforehand, right? Usually, what do we relate the stage to? We usually relate it to a performance. We usually relate it to, oh, we need to do an act, right? And when it comes to performance, our head thinks that it needs to be perfect. And that's the biggest problem, because when it needs to be perfect, we need to think that, oh, am I going to forget my lines? Am I going to forget this part of the presentation? Am I going to forget that part of the presentation? So what is the difference? Why is it that when we have a one-to-one conversation, it seems to be okay, but why is it that the moment we get onto stage, then we kind of lose our flow, we kind of get all panicky, we kind of start building up this anxiety, is because we think of the situation differently. And so in NLP, we call this a cognitive reframe. What that means is we need to reframe the situation. First of all, remember, everything starts from thought. So the way we think about it is the way we feel about it, and it's the way that we act about it. So if we change a thought from being, I am going up there to do a performance or a perfected performance, okay, we change the thinking and we change the understanding and we tell ourselves that, hey, I'm not going up there to do a performance. I'm going up there to have a conversation. And so if you go up there and you think, and you imagine the crowd to be someone you're just going to speak to on a one-to-one level, right? You go up there with that thinking, everything starts to shift. So the first thing is you need to do a cognitive reframe, yeah? And then the second thing, right? This is very, very important, is this word here, breathing. Okay, now this may sound very obvious. You're probably thinking, well, I kind of breathe already, Eric, you know, why you tell me to breathe? But the thing is this, right? Let's face it, right? If you are very scared of public speaking right now, right? If you are trying to conquer that fear, but that fear of public speaking is far too great, you feel it, you're so panicky, you get onto stage, right? What usually happens? Do you usually speak faster or do you actually speak slower? Right? Most of you, what will happen is you will speak a lot faster. And why do you think that reason is? Why do you think that you would speak faster if you had that panic mode going, you had that anxiety? The reason being is because in your mind, you want to get the presentation over and done with as fast as possible. Now, so a lot of the time we think, why is it that my face turns red? Why is it that my hands start shaking, my legs start shaking, my body starts shaking? Very, very simple. It's because if you try doing this, right? If you speak very, very fast, do you breathe more or do you breathe less? You breathe a lot less, right? Why? Because all your words are just churning out one by one, one by one, one by one. And you're not even giving your time to actually breathe, so you get no oxygen into your body. Now, if you were to hold your breath right now for a minute, or you hold it for 2 minutes, I can be certain that your face is going to start turning red and your hands are going to start shaking too, because you are stopping and you're cutting the oxygen flow in your body. So instead, what it means is you need to breathe. Now you'll be thinking, but I am breathing, otherwise I would have fainted a long time ago, but you're breathing a lot less. So how do you actually go about doing this? Very, very simple, okay? Before you go up for a presentation, take deep breath in and out. Right? Take plenty of these deep breaths in and out. And then when you get onto stage, what you do is you purposefully speak slower. Now, why do I say purposefully? That's the key word there, because if you go onto stage and you start doing this, you say, "Hi, my name is," they'll think, "What's wrong with you? You know, there's something seriously wrong with you." But you can speak slowly, purposefully. And the reason why you speak slowly is because you allow the space for your breathing. So if you went on with full confidence, yeah, with that perceived confidence, okay? I know that inside your mind, you'll be freaking out a little bit, but that's normal because you need to keep practicing it, right? To get comfortable, right? So you go on there, and then what do? You say, "Good morning, everybody," right? Today, I've got 3 things that I'm gonna be sharing with you. And if you do that, you can speak slowly, but it's got a punch to it, right? It's got a confidence to it. So they won't be thinking, "Why is this person speaking so slow?" But what happens is then you start catching your breath and you start breathing within it. Now, when you start breathing, what will happen is you'll start naturally going into that flow, right? Understand this, when you go onto stage the first time, right? That's when the audience, when you first get onto stage, is when the audience is most skeptical about the speaker, thinking, "I took my busy time out of my schedule to be here right now. I hope you're gonna be good, right? I hope you're not gonna waste my time." So they are most skeptical at that point. Now, when a speaker first goes onto stage, they are most nervous. So when you get most nervous, right, and most skeptical, this is the worst combination ever. So why is it so important to have that confidence first? Because if you have that confidence first, that perceived confidence will stop them from being so skeptical and looking at you in a weird way, and then you start relaxing too, and then you start getting into your flow. So remember to breathe in between your sentences, and that's why it's very important to know how to hold a pause, be able to hold a pause with power. So you can hold that pause and breathe in between, okay? So the third thing, the final thing we have for this video, okay, is, okay, eyes. Now you're probably thinking, eyes, what's that got to do with public speaking? Well, very simply, it's like this, okay? The biggest thing that actually freaks us out when we get onto stage is when we get on there and we are not, let me ask you a question. If you're not a public speaker, if you don't speak back to back, I mean, now I do events all around the world back to back, right? Now the thing is this, if you don't do it like that, how many times in your life have you had when 100 eyeballs are looking at you or 1,000 eyeballs are looking at you at one time? We never faced that, right? We've never seen that before. So when we never seen that before, we're not used to that, we freak out, right? It's outside of our comfort zone. And the biggest problem is this, the biggest problem is most people, when they go on stage, they are looking at everybody, they're looking at all these eyeballs and they're thinking, OMG, what's going on, you know? And that's what happens because you're looking at so many eyeballs and it's freaking you out. But the power is not within this scanning, right? You do not hold any connection, you do not hold any power if you speak like this. Instead, your power comes when you speak to one person at one time. So don't try to look at all the eyeballs because that will freak you out. You look at one person and you have a conversation, and we have something called the 3-second rule. Okay, if you're taking notes, make sure to write this down. 3-second rule. So we practice pushing past the 3 seconds because it's very simple. If you don't know what I mean, very simple. If you take someone right now and you just look at them for 3 seconds, there's this awkwardness where you feel like turning away. Okay, but as a speaker, to be able to connect with people, you have to push past those 3 seconds. So just practice it, looking at somebody, one person, having that full-on conversation through your presentation, then switching, looking at somebody else, then having that full-on conversation, right? It has to push past the 3 seconds. So you're talking about 5 to 10 seconds, looking at one person. Then you switch, looking at the next person, but you're only looking at one set of eyeballs at one time. By doing that, it feels like a one-to-one conversation, and your anxiety, right, and your fear of public speaking, all of this starts decreasing. So there you are. 3 keys to overcome the fear, to conquer the fear of public speaking. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment below, give us a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.